YouTube, what's good? Senju, back at it again with another video. So, before we get started, if you guys want me to continue to cover the news as well as dropping, the news update guides, going over hot takes and whatnot, leave a like on the video. You don't have to, subscribe if you don't want to, but leaving likes on the video does give me a good gauge as to whether or not you guys want me to continue to go over the news as well as the patch notes and so forth and so on, because I'm already doing build guides and I want to do more Throne and Liberty content, but I also don't want to oversaturate your feed because I know there's a million other people that are they're taking clips of news and whatnot and just throwing it up there. So if you guys want me to cover the patch notes and continue to do that in between all of my build guides and dungeon updates and whatnot, just leave a like on the video, and not only will it help the channel grow, but it'll help me get a better gauge as to what you guys actually want within my core community here. So today we have Throne and Liberty update 1.8.0. Now here's some key things that I'm excited for. I know there's weapon balance changes in here because they've been talking about it for the past month and some change, and what I'm hoping for is that there is a change to Flash Wave. Do I expect it? No, because they haven't spoken on it at all, but Flash Wave needs to go. It is obnoxious. It's carrying a lot of guilds to positions that they do not belong in, and what makes matters worse is that there's no counterplay to it. You cannot go in Viz with daggers and avoid the Flash Wave. You can't block the flash. I mean, you could block the Flash Wave, you could dodge the Flash Wave, but in most cases, because there is no telegraph to let you know that you're being hit by one unless you're looking directly at the person that's casting it, and targeting is trash in this game anyway, it's very difficult to figure out who's flash waving, and by the time you do, there's about 3 others coming at you. It's way too obnoxious, and there's very little to no counterplay when it comes to it, and there's no penalty for using the ability either. You just cast it and you get bonus damage, and then there's a heal on top of it. Even though the heal is minuscule, still it's a heal. That ability should be pure heals, or it should be pure damage, and it shouldn't be high damage. So that needs a change. Whether or not they put it in here, hey, we're gonna have to find out. But if it's not in here, it better be in the next note. That should be like the top of the radar for all changes. That thing is horrible. So like I said, we're at 1.8.0. Throne and Liberty update 1.8.0 downtime will begin at 10:30 p.m. and it will end at 6:30 a.m. Universal Time Clock. Okay, now this is going to carry over into tomorrow. So for those of you who are on the eastern front of the United States, you guys will be getting this around, I believe, 1:30 a.m. and it won't end until early into your morning. But for us, it'll be earlier into the morning. So we're looking at 6.5 hours. That's fine. That's pretty standard for games when they go down on maintenance. And as you can see, we're going to be getting the 2-star dungeons with this update. And it looks like some new additional features to the Solisium sprouts, sages. This sounds like a veteran program, because there's another game that did this. What was it? Lost Ark? They had like a sprout system. I don't think they had a sage, but they had like a sprout where new players, like it would show that you're a new player. So if this is what I think it is, that's pretty cool. And then inter-server conquest battles seem to be coming with this update, which is a good thing. So let's go ahead and get in here and see what we got. 2-star dungeons, Solisium, Sprout, and Sages. Okay. A new tier of challenge beckons. 2-star dungeons. 2-star dungeons are reimagined versions of existing dungeons featuring more challenging versions of bosses to conquer, as well as some entirely new boss encounters. I actually really love this because one of my favorite games of all time is The Elder Scrolls Online. I know that's a controversial hot take, but the reason why is that they never ran out of PvE content. In fact, their PvP only suffered because the servers were trash. If the servers were not trash, that would honestly be one of the best PvP games out on the market, MMO wise. But they, for some reason, just completely shat on their entire server system, and it screwed up PvP. But they never ever had a bad PvE experience for me, in my opinion. So with the addition of these dungeons, it seems more like it's falling in line with the Elder Scrolls Online, where you're going to have normal versions of the dungeons, and then you're going to have hard mode versions, which in this case is going to be 2 stars. My only gripe is the fact that I can only run a certain amount per day, but considering that their entire system is built around pigeonholing people into swiping the card, I guess we got to deal with what we got to deal with. Which, by the way, Amazon, if any of you, especially Tico, happen to see the video that I'm putting out here, please get in contact with me, because I have a couple of ideas for the game that I think would strongly benefit not only you but the player base, and it would do some goodwill for everybody. You know, I think that there are some monetization changes that could be made that again could benefit the player and benefit you. And I think that everybody would agree that the current auction house is garbage. You know, because of the auction house, the rest of the game has to suffer. You can't run dungeons as many times as you want to and farm out your sets. It's very difficult to trade gear. It's just, you know, it's not pay to win, it's pay for convenience. But the pay to win starts to pop up when new gear comes out and you have people just swiping endlessly to get to the end tier. Granted, AGS is definitely taking their sweet time with dropping content, which is a good thing because it makes it a lot easier for players to get geared and catch up to the players that are whaling in the game. But the players that are whaling in the game shouldn't exist in the first place, because whaling shouldn't even need to be necessary to gear in a PvE funneled PvP experience. But that's a different topic for a different day. Let's see what we got here. Like we said, we have the basic hard mode versions of the current existing bosses, and then rewards for the 2-star dungeons include all 2 and 4 piece set bonuses, as well as the new accessory items, which again, for the people who have followed my channel, I will be updating the PvE guide, and I will be dropping a PvP guide, and I will be dropping the highly requested spin to win guide this week. So stay tuned for all of that, as well as dungeon guides. I will be doing dungeon guides for all of the new hard mode dungeons, especially if they are more difficult than what I anticipate, which I'm at 3.1k gear score, so it seems like characters must have a combat power of at least 2500 to challenge 2-star dungeons. So it seems like most of us will be able to enter and will have very little to no problem, minus the mechanics. So we'll go ahead and see. Now, I am well aware that the KR version has already had this, but there are very little KR content creators, especially when it comes to global, and global does have a lot of changes, so I will be dropping the guides anyway for the people that are looking for global creators. 2-star dungeons added in this update include the Carmine Rage Island, Void Waste, Island of Terror, I'm hella excited about, not gonna lie, and then Valley of Slaughter seems real fun, just because I really like the antagonist of the main campaign. That was kind of fun. So, Solisium Sprouts and Sages. The new Solisium Sages program allows for more experienced players to assist newcomers to Solisium with learning and progressing in Throne of Liberty. Okay. So, it's pretty much what I said. The Sprouts system from, like, Lost Ark. But it seems like they've added on to it, so characters will become eligible to obtain Sage status when they reach level 50. Complete Act 10 of the Adventure Codex. So for those of you who have been slacking on your codex or have not completed the main campaign, go ahead and get that done. Acquire 1-star dungeon completion rewards 3 times for each of the 6 dungeons. Everybody should have this by now, but if you haven't, you should probably go knock that out. Acquire 20 dynamic event participation rewards. Now this right here, I can understand people not having, because up until recently, which I literally mean Monday, I wasn't really running dynamic events because I didn't really see a value in the rewards until I really got comfortable with the dissolve system and understood that these dynamic events are goated for getting blue fish, because blue fish are hard to come by if you're not fishing in the ocean or you don't have high mastery. But these events, if you ever need an easy way to get blue fish, there's a very good chance that you're gonna get rare fish and rare crafting materials for food out of this. So I do every single event that I see, even if you come in last place or you come in first place. Do it anyway. Just get the participation award and just start racking up. It's free. Use 40,000 abyssal contract tokens. Now, considering the fact that this is the main money-making method in the game currently, there is no way no one has not used 40,000. But if you haven't, you better get on that. Defeat 20 field bosses. Easy. Complete 20 region exploration quests, subsections, progress subsections of the exploration codex. Again, it's just codex completions, very easy to do. Complete 100 resistance contracts. Everybody has this, so that's pretty good. A new button will appear at the top left of the character sheet, allowing eligible characters to enable or disable Sage status. Characters will lose Sprout eligibility. Now this is obviously when you join as a new player, Reach level 50, complete Act 10, this is the main campaign, complete 15 1-star dungeons or higher, obtain 10 dynamic participation rewards, use 10,000 abyssal contract tokens, defeat 10 field bosses, or obtain 1 weekly reward. Now, let's see. A new button and icon appear at the top left of the character sheet, allowing eligible characters to enable or disable Sprout status. Sages and Sprouts will both receive a title and profile border to display their status to others. Okay. New map markers allow Sages to see the location of nearby Sprouts on the minimap. Sages cannot see icons for other Sages. These icons will not appear in conflict areas, or if the user's map icon settings have disabled Sprout icons, or if the user is blocked. Okay. A new Sprout chat channel has been added for Sages and Sprouts to communicate from anywhere in game. This right here, look, listen, people are gonna overlook this. This is huge. I legitimately wish that every single game on the market did this if it had a multiplayer experience, because that right there is ginormous. I think the only other game that even has something remotely close to this is Warframe, and that's because they have a global chat channel that the entire gaming community for Warframe has pretty much deemed as their new player channel, so that when new players come into the game and they're asking, no, actually they have a help channel too, where even some of the devs will be in the help channel explaining game mechanics to some people, and they'll even recommend content creators for you to go watch if you need detailed guides on some situations. This right here is a night and day difference between somebody just joining the game and then having to communicate with a bunch of people that are really toxic in the global chat. Because hey, listen, regardless of what server you're on or what game we play, we all know that global chat typically is the degenerate chat for every game. So this right here is a night and day difference. I'm here for it. Love it. I'm probably going to be engaged in this because, considering the fact that I am a content creator, I do enjoy teaching people. And while I might not be enabling my Sage icon, I will definitely be in that chat channel helping some people get more accustomed to the game and making sure that they're going to be here for the long ride and a fun ride. So actually looking forward to that. Sprouts can leave a like commendation on the character cards of Sages to indicate helpfulness. What game also had? There was another game that had this mechanic and it was huge. Naraka Blade Point. They have a like and dislike system to let you know if the players that you played with are actually good players or if they're consistent, and it's huge between determining who you need to block, who you need to avoid, and who you want to invite. And that game has a really good community as well, because of something as minuscule as that is huge, because at the end of the matches they allow you to just sit there and say, hey, leave a like, leave a dislike, or just don't like it at all. And for me, on my account, I have a 99% like rating because I never left the game. And because of that, people are more inclined to stay in the game and play with you. That system, like stuff like this, people look at it and they'll say it's minuscule. That's extremely important and impactful to new and casual players, because stuff like that they look at, and that's how they determine whether or not they're going to stay in the game or not. So I'm actually excited for everything that I just saw here. Weapon skill and balance changes, thank God. Please, for the love of God, nerf Flash Wave. Oh boy. Weapon balance in combat has been adjusted, and several skill errors have been fixed. Okay, see below for details. Added new specializations to some weapons. Like I said previously, I was going to check out the vampiric buff because that seemed pretty interesting. I don't know if I'm too hyped about the frenzied sword dance, but I'm going to check it out anyway, especially for PvP. That might be kind of interesting. And changed values applied to existing specializations. Yo, this patch couldn't come faster enough. Sword and shield. Stalwart Bastion added the new specialization cooldown reduction. Decreases Stalwart Bastion cooldown by 15 seconds when applied. Costs 5 spec points. You know, I don't know if Sword and Shield needed any kind of buff to cooldown reduction, but okay, you know, I guess we'll take it. Great Sword Blood Devotion added the new specialization cooldown reduction. Listen, we don't need cooldown reduction on Blood Devotion. Come on now. We have Wisdom, listen. Great Sword and Board do not need any kind of buffs. I need to contact the balance team. Somebody get me in contact with me on point immediately, because listen, we need to have a discussion here. This right here, this can't fly. You know, this alone is going to cause a multitude of problems, and we already have problems with Greatsword and PvP being basically the CC king. Like this doesn't need to exist. this is just gonna make everything worse. The more you slap cooldowns on Greatsword, regardless of the ability, the stronger Greatsword gets, and it's already one of the strongest, if not the strongest weapon in the game. The only reason people run daggers in PvP, if they're not like me and run crossbow and dagger, is purely because they want the invisibility. That's it. That's all they want. Devoted Shield now shows skill range when the Devotion Sanctuary specialization is applied. Okay. More telegraphs, I'm here for it. Precision Dash updated to count as a Fury attack when the Bind specialization is applied. This is actually both a buff and a nerf, because this makes it so that this can actually be countered, which is huge. Like they buffed it, but for the people that don't understand, the Fury attacks also apply to PvP, and these are the ones that you can parry. This is a huge nerf to Precision Dash, because for those of you that know when to block or know when to dodge, you can completely stop this ability from going off. And if you're on crossbow like I am, not only can you stop it, you can knock them from here to Zimbabwe. So, hey, I'll take it. It's both a buff and a nerf inadvertently. Now, Vital Force added tooltip notation for the maximum health limit. Okay. Okay. All right, here we go. Dagger. Vampiric Strike increased base damage and skill heal. They didn't actually state what the increased base damage is, but considering that it is a single hit ability, I would assume that Vampiric Strike is only going to be about maybe 200% of your base damage when they finish. That makes the most sense to me. I don't think they're going to push it too high. If they do, I'll take it. But considering the fact that this ability also heals and you can get the additional hit, I highly doubt that they're going to raise this any higher than 200%, but we'll see. Increase the damage for the specialization additional hit. Now, this additional hit was a 60% base increase. The highest that I would see this going at the bare minimum is 80%. And if they do it at the bare maximum, I would say it's going to be 100% of your base damage, and this would be like 200%, which honestly, that would be really good because both of them can offhand and they can heavy attack. So I'll take it. And then they increased the value of the vampirism from the specialization boost effects. Okay, cool. Frenzied Sword Dance. Now this is the base version, but it's getting a new specialization. Added the new conversion kit, that's what I like to call them. Area damage increases damage to all enemies within 3 meters of your arrival point by 60% of base damage when applied. So my question is, can you run this with the conversion kit for Mad Sword Dance? Because if you can, then you're essentially getting an additional 60% base damage in AoE on the target. That could be really good. Really good, actually. Because each one of those swipes can heavy attack, and they can offhand hit. I'm gonna look at this because this could actually be really freaking good. Knife throwing increased the debuff applied that reduces incoming recovery effects. Thank God. Like, it was already busted, I'm not gonna lie. A 50% nerf to healing received that lasted like 5 seconds in PvP was crazy. Not to mention that it also increased when you leveled it up. So depending on how much they increased this by, at max level, you could be looking at a 100% decrease to the healing that you receive in PvP, automatically making this the best AoE ability in the game, low-key, because you can toss this thing from Timbuktu and just hit everything. And honestly, I want to see a new specialization that allows the blades to bounce on impact and hit nearby targets. That would be crazy. Crossbow, Selfless Diffusion removed the specialization, remove CC. I absolutely do not agree with this. Because that leaves 2 specializations, and the 2 specializations that exist on this are hot garbage without this right here. Now, I get why they did it, because obviously running Selfless Diffusion, removing CC and PvP, and getting an increased offhand chance is huge. You know what? I take it back. I see why they did this. I 100% am in favor of this. I see why they did it. They removed it because in PvP, it pigeonholed you into a position where you only used it when you wanted to get out of an ability, when you need it for everything else in the crossbow kit. This ability exists to buff all of your other abilities, your cooldown rate, your offhand attack chance, your weaken effect buff rate, but you couldn't have it at all because you saved it specifically to get out of an ability. So, funny enough, this is both a buff, a nerf, and a fix, I would say, because I can see right here that they removed it from Selfless Diffusion and applied it to Mana Exchange, which I'm actually good with because no one's using Mana Exchange for one. So this will probably increase the rate at which you see this ability go up. But the other thing is that for people that use this ability, there is now a penalty where if you're going to use this ability, you're going to lose health for it. And I'm okay with that. That there should be a penalty for breaking out of CCs if you're going to use abilities like this. So I'm okay with that. And now that this actually does not remove, well, that this doesn't remove CC, you're basically free to use this ability whenever you want to. So the DPS for crossbows and daggers in PvP are going to go up tremendously now. And yo, I'm here for this. This is actually huge. I can't even lie. There's going to be so many combos going off now. Oh, this is nasty. This is actually a buff. Funny enough, it looks like a nerf, but if you understand how Selfless Diffusion works, this is actually a massive buff. Mana Exchange, I don't know, because I really can't see a place to fit this into a crossbow dagger PvP build. I can't see it. You would have to remove something, and pretty much everything in the kit is extremely valuable, especially Selfless Diffusion. That's like your main source of damage increasing. So this is gonna be a tough one, but this here is a huge buff. So we'll see what's going on. Explosive Trap, increased base duration, improved duration bonuses provided by the specialization, increased duration. That's not the problem with Explosive Trap. The problem with Explosive Trap is that no one's ever going to step on the stupid thing, because the radius is so small that when it does go off, if you're not running the stun specialization, then all you're getting is a movement speed decrease. And I would rather run knife throwing, because knife throwing is going to be applied from my current location. What I will say is that this thing should be a one button cast ability, and it should be attached to the player. So say I cast it, the Explosive Trap should be on me, meaning anything surrounding me in like a 3 to 5 meter radius should be getting stunned if I have the stun spec. That's just the way that I see it. Multi-shot decreases Nimble Leap cooldown by 15 seconds when used. Holy moly, that's nuts. Good God almighty. Yo, PvE and PvP builds are about to go crazy. I'm definitely testing pretty much everything out here. It's just a whole lot of buffs here. I'm here for it. Longbow Healing Touch now shares cooldown with the wand skill Swift Healing. Oh, that's a nerf. Ooh. Now stacks with other players' Healing Touch skill when used on friendly targets. It's a buff, but that's actually that's a pretty decent nerf. Purifying Touch increased the maximum effect stacks that can be removed when cleansing weakened CC effects. Interesting. So essentially you just turn Purifying Touch into a better version of the spec that you nerfed from Selfless Diffusion, and just gave it to one of the strongest weapons in the entire game. Oh boy. Okay, Devoted Shield effect change now creates a 3-second shield when the target is hit at or below 30% health, 60-second cooldown. Blessed be the Amazon game gods. Blessed be. Oh, y'all don't understand. Y'all do not understand how unbelievably stupid this shield was. This shield made it near impossible for you to kill somebody in PvP at all, because you would run around, and for me, I hit hard in PvP. We're talking, I'm getting off 7k thunderous bombings on people with heavy attacks and offhands, but because they have the Laquarius's tome that makes them invis, and you stack that with a bunch of shields, they were escaping death every 2 seconds. You try to get a bomb off, shields just popping up every 2 seconds. This right here, blessed be, for 3 seconds with a 60-second cooldown, this means that the only thing that's gonna save them is this, but at the exact same time that this procs, the tome goes off. So when they come out of invisibility, they're fresh meat, easy picking. For 60 seconds, ain't nothing saving you but your heals. So longbow users, wand spammers, run for your lives. Don't you run from me though, cause I'm coming to get you. You're cooked. That's it. This is all we needed. Good God almighty, I'm so sick of y'all running around and shield, invis, shield, invis, shield, invis. Like, man, get out of here. Cheesy. And when that flash wave gets nerfed, because I know it's coming, they haven't said anything, I know it's coming. When that flash wave gets hit, good luck. Good luck, all of you flash wave spammers running around thinking you're good. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy, do you have another thing coming. Serial firebombs. I am actually in favor if this thing gets a buff. The specialization focused firebombs now has an 80% chance to reduce the effect of received healing by 80% for 6 seconds. So they effectively just got a staff version of knife throwing. I mean, this is actually way better than knife throwing because knife throwing doesn't have a targeting system. It's just an AoE spec that you just launch. This is full targeted, smart targeting. Ooh, that's gonna be so strong. Good God almighty. Inferno wave, adjusted the specialization frenzied lightning wave to have 1 base activation and 1 additional activation for wet and frost. It's actually going to be very nice for PvP and PvE, especially if you pair this up with a crossbow user that has the lightning spec with Gale. Oh my God, you're going to run over so many people. I'm here for it. Chain lightning fixed the specialization chain thunder so that it no longer activates the crossbow's Mother Nature's bowstring effect. What? I didn't know that was a thing. So you're telling me that for people who were using staff crossbow and they had chain thunder as the spec, it would actually activate the bonus hits from Mother Nature's protest? Honestly, I would have left that in just for PvP. I mean PvE. That's cool. I would have left it in, honestly. I can see why they fixed it, but I would have left it in. Ice Spear fixed an issue where the frost effect was applied for a shorter duration than intended. Fixed an issue where the specialization bind would always ignore defense and resistance to apply. Interesting. The Judgment Lightning. The specialization consecutive use now has an additional 80% chance to debuff shield block chance by 30%. Yes. Yes. Yes, anything that can nerf the absurd, obnoxious standpoint of tanks in PvP, I'm here for it. By God, bring more. Oh boy, Infernal Meteor, increased damage. Increased damage of the specialization Hellfire Rain and adjusted the falling meteor to be more centered. Increased the specialization heal reduction debuff effect. So basically this is for PvE. Because there were a lot of people that were using this ability in PvE and they were basically getting no loot unless they played PvP and their dots happened to carry them. Frostmaster, now when landing a basic attack, inflicts the frost effect on targets within 3 meters for 3 seconds. Does not stack. So basically they just got a passive Mother Nature's protest. Okay, that's cool. Clay Salvation, the specialization weaken removal now removes all stacks of 1 type of effect instead of 1 stack. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Time for Punishment, the specialization Burning Time now also adds a debuff to shield block chance. Oh, I see. That's a nerf to wand, sword, and shield users. Yeah, that's a hefty nerf right there. Ooh-wee. Karmic Haze fixed an issue where it would ignore spread chance in some cases. Adjusted to ignore shield block chance. Wait, shield block when spreading. Woo! Ray of Disaster. Now if a target dies during the effect, transfers to an additional target within 10 meters. The specialization expand targets now provides 10 meters of bonus range? Good God. Oh, good Lord. The specialization move speed reduction now debuffs by 30% increase from 15%. Ugh. Cooked. Swift healing now shares a cooldown with the longbow skill healing touch. I mean, hey. There are some questionable changes here. Not gonna lie. But for the most part, I see nothing but W's. I would like for the next patch to really hit Great Sword and Sword and Shield hard, but rather Great Sword. The amount of stuns and binds that Greatsword is capable of, in conjunction with something like Sword and Shield, that needs to be looked at. And the game needs CC immunity bad. Like, it needs it horribly bad, because without CC immunity, especially in big fights like this, it ain't looking kosher, my guy. You are getting butt blasted. Premium edition. Like, it is not good. Alright, inter-server conquest battles. Ooh, I already like the sound of this. Me likey. Guilds who control a Riftstone or Boonstone can participate in a bi-weekly cross-server competition for additional rewards. Okay. Riftstones. Join an inter-server conflict mode boss fight for the boss corresponding with your Riftstone for loot, drops, and lucent generated by auction house taxes. Blessed be! By the gods! We're making more money. Woohoo! Woohoo! Oh boy. Boonstones. Join an inter-server dynamic event for the zone corresponding with your Boonstone. The winning guild will receive an amount of lucent generated by the auction house taxes. Blessed be. Hey Tico, where do I apply? Tico, let me handle some of this, man, because y'all cooking over here. Never did I ever think that I was going to be proud of an Amazon studio. Y'all are cooking. Good job. Somebody tell Tico he did a good job here. My goodness. General. Random matchmaking. Parties of 4 may now queue for random dungeon matchmaking. Blessed be. Woohoo! Oh boy. Oh man, the amount of W's in this patch makes me think that the next one is about to be a whole bunch of L's. Hopefully they do not disappoint with the next one. Oh man, increased from the prior limit of 2 characters. That's huge. Added a new type of chat channel for alliances. Hey yo, Tico. Let me talk to you, man. Tico, you are cooking, my guy. I don't know who you must have been, brother. I don't know. I'm just glad y'all are cooking, because these are the kind of changes we've been asking for. Stuff like this is needed. I got nothing else to say. Y'all are cooking. I can't even be mad. Chat adjusted the colors of party chat and party recruitment notices to make them easier to distinguish from each other. Okay, that's cool. Let's see. The chat UI can now be moved as well as separated from the chat entry field. Okay, cool. Various minor UI adjustment and spacing improvements. Peace mode boss portals adjusted the positioning of the portal for peace mode Junibode events to move it outside of the PvP enabled area. There were so many. Look, for you guys that are on Sanctum server, you guys know me. A lot of people know exactly who I am. They know that I make content on YouTube. The amount of people that I've seen complaining about the Junibode position for the portal was hilarious. I kid you not. Yesterday we had a Junibode it was Junibode conflict late at night, and a bunch of people were trying to get into the peace portal and they couldn't get into the peace portal, so all the boss rooms were pretty much darn near empty because there was a guild outside in the PvP area trying to keep people out of the peace portal. I'm sitting here going, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh man. Black Howl Plains fixed an issue that occasionally prevented the Black Howl Plains Boonstone from being claimable. Okay. Contracts fixed an issue where the 5th contract would not be pinned to the contract notifications UI after being accepted. Codex, the happiest day ever, fixed an issue causing a collection page to be inaccessible. Tooltips fixed an issue causing item tooltips opened from chat to be partially cut off. Thank God. Because I would occasionally pull up people's gear in chat and that shit would be up in the fucking stratosphere of the screen and you couldn't see anything. And I'm sitting here just like, let me click it again. Nope, let me click it again. Okay, let me click it again. And then it would finally show up in the center where I could read it. So thank goodness they fixed that. And then Battle Pass UI fixed an issue causing red notification dot to occasionally not disappear after using the claim all buttons button. That seems minuscule, but for people like me that have you know, a need to clear everything out, that's huge. Because the one thing that I hated was when I would see the button and then I would go over there and then there's nothing to claim, and I'm like, well, why is the button here? You know, it was just a minute inconvenience, but that's okay. So key points: we have new Conquest battles coming, which are huge for Lucent gains. We have a bunch of balance changes. I would like to see some more Greatsword changes nerfed in the future. And Longbow, nothing else needs to be changed on Longbow, but Flash Wave needs to go. Flash Wave has got to go. That ability is way too strong currently. Outside of that, good job Amazon. You guys have been killing it, not gonna lie. I'm extremely impressed by your dedication to making this game good. Tico, hey, if you see this video, you're cooking, my guy. You are cooking. Everybody else on the team is cooking as well, because you couldn't convince me that this patch was going to be this good, and it's this good. So let's get ready for patch 1.8.0. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I know I like to yap a lot. That's okay. The people who are here and who have subbed know me. I'm the doctor of yapaholics. Hey, you get what you get. You got a yapper. What can I say? Like I said, leave a like. Make sure you guys subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. Make sure again that you guys leave a like as a gauge to let me know whether or not you want me to cover more patch notes. Comment what you guys think about the patch notes down there in the description, because I'm always replying and I'm always talking with you guys. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.